Welcome, geeks and freaks, to this week's Wrestle Geeks episode of TNA Impact. I'm the modern day Viking Jay Scriven, joined by the geek of geeks, Trevor Burth. We're going to talk straight away about the heartbreaking news of Scott D'Amore's departure from TNA, his firing or departure, whichever one you want to go by. Um, yeah, would you like to go into it?
Yeah. The whole firing or departure is a really good way of saying it, because depending who you talk to, there's some people are just like, oh yeah, he's stepping down. He chose to step down, but Anthem is saying that they fired him because they're trying to control the narrative. Which, yeah, corporations and big companies do that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what was happening in this case too. But at the same time, maybe he was just fired. Um, Based on everything I read, apparently Scott had like a good 10 days kind of thing before it happened, before the announcement was officially made.
Yeah.
I'm devastated by this. It hurts. It sucks. I feel like the rug's been pulled out from under me. The stability that I was hoping that Impact, that TNA was finally going to have.
It feels like it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea what's coming next.
Like I had 100% faith in Scott's vision for TNA, and with him going, um, I'm going to carry on supporting TNA just for their stars, and I think everyone else should. Everyone's talking about canceling their subscription and all this sort of stuff, which isn't fair on everyone else.
No, it's not fair on the roster at all. That's for sure.
But we need to give it a bit of time. You know, this person is a businessman who's come in, and I understand that Scott D'Amore tried to buy TNA, which could have been huge.
I think it would have been.
Yeah, but I feel like now where Anthem running it as a business and not a show could really affect a lot of things, especially as they've said themselves they want to save money on it. You know,
Yeah.
they're willing to offer CM Punk and Will Ospreay some big contracts, but really it's about saving money. You know, they're going back to Las Vegas to record Rebellion, which I don't feel is going to do as well as it did before.
No, I think
Um,
this announcement with Scott being gone is going to affect ticket sales.
yeah, and you know, if head of creative is now Tommy Dreamer and Gail Kim, which I have no doubt Gail Kim will do a fantastic job with the Knockouts division, but I don't feel like I have that much faith in Tommy Dreamer to run it as well as Scott did.
Yeah. I mean, you know, people like Santino Morello is still there, and like he's probably like I have a feeling some other people are probably going to pick up a few more responsibilities when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to creative. For me, it's like seeing Jessica Havoc's post, seeing Jordan Grace's post,
Yeah.
Santino's post, like what people are saying, how everybody, how the roster and the people who work at TNA are just so sad about
Mm-hmm.
the entire thing.
It's heartbreaking. And another thing to consider is Scott D'Amore is purely the reason TNA and New Japan reconciled their differences,
Yeah.
and is this new person going to be able to get someone like Jordan Grace into the Royal Rumble? Is this going to affect the deal they've got with AAA? You know, Scott D'Amore had such a hold on everything while he was there, and I understand Anthem want their owl in the corner, but right now I feel like this could affect many things. And I feel with this news breaking, just watching Impact Wrestling affected my morale watching it. I didn't enjoy this
Yeah.
episode. We'll go into it more, but I didn't enjoy this episode as much as I have the last ones.
I agree. I think that's having the announcement that Scott was leaving go up the day that the episode was airing was a very poor move.
Yeah.
Because it definitely, like, I will say, like, there are parts of this episode that would have been that I definitely think this was a less exciting episode than the last couple episodes that we've had. But the fact that Scott was announced to be gone on the day where this went up, where this aired, definitely made it worse.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's still fresh. I hope Scott does something. Like, I made a post, like, we're recording this on Sunday. He made a post from BCW, from Border City Wrestling, saying that he's back there, basically. And
Mhm.
I'm excited that, you know, he's still staying in wrestling and he's going back to BCW. I just hope that maybe this is finally going to be the time when Canada starts becoming more viewed, more respected as a wrestling country, because Canada, like, we have great talent. We have amazing
Yeah.
talent coming out of Canada, but nobody knows our indies. I speak to fans from America. I speak to fans from, like, even other Canadian fans. Like, they know their areas, but they don't know anything about Canada as, like, as a whole. It's not like the States at all. When you talk about the indie scene in the States, like, you have a lot of names that come up over and over and over again because these people are in high demand and stuff like that. While
Mhm.
Canada's not like that. It's very secluded. It's very provincial based. Like, we're all cut into our different. We're territorial. It's territories up here still,
Yeah.
and that's. I've talked to some American fans, and they find that completely insane that we're still so territory based up here.
Now, one thing you and I have spoken about, and I don't think it is, but if this was a work,
Huh.
and if Anthem were clever enough, they would turn it into a work right now, because the buzz that they're getting online on Twitter, or sorry, X, you know, and everywhere is talking about TNA and Scott D'Amore. Now, they may have gone, okay, well, we're going to get rid of Scott D'Amore, but even with just all this buzz around them right now, they should be like, this is a work. This, like, they should turn this into an angle or a work where Scott D'Amore invades with BCW, or the Scott D'Amore, the Canadian Alliance, or something like that, and they should turn it into a work.
I mean, that's assuming Scott wants anything to do with it, though. That's the
Oh
problem.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe he just,
You
like,
know,
with talks going the way they did, he just wants nothing to do with it right now, and he's just walking away.
yes,
So
yes,
it's really hard to tell. And of course, anytime there's any controversy or any, like, anything big like that in wrestling, you want to spin it, turn it into something,
yeah.
make it
It's
an
wishful
angle.
thinking.
Yeah.
Wishful thinking. You know.
Um,
So,
I don't
with all
know.
the sad news, I think we should go, if you want to go into Xplosion. Again, I didn't have a
Yeah.
chance to watch it, but
Uh, I'm gonna be very
yeah.
quick about Explosion this week. Just get through it. Nothing like super exciting, crazy per se.
Hmm.
But like, opening match was Rhino versus Champagne Singh. For some reason, again, they have Rhino. I don't know if they're like, oh, well, Rhino's a veteran. Rhino's getting up there in age, so he should feel like the young underdog. Like, I don't know if that's kind of the logic behind it, but anyway, I didn't like it. Singh got in a lot of offense, which is good for him, but it's the same thing as a Shira match where it feels like he's for some reason being portrayed as the underdog that has to keep fighting up and then getting shut down and fights back and shut down, fights back, shut down until he finally pulls off the win. And it's just weird. Um, at the end of
I
the
can
match,
un- I can understand that with Shearer, as is this big,
yeah.
huge bloke, but like surely they shouldn't leave way around having face Singh and then Shearer. You know
Well,
what I mean?
when the way Singh did it, Singh was using a lot of underhanded, dirty tactics, like constantly cheating, doing a bunch of little things, distracting the referee with stupid little things so he could try and get a little one up on Rhino. Like he was playing the very smart tactical heel.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the story they were telling with the match. I just don't feel like this is a good spot for Rhino. Crazy Steve comes in at the end of the match, low blows him, talks a bunch of trash, saying that he's just getting started with the belt, and he wants Rhino to he's going to make Rhino a notch on the title.
Mm-hmm.
This week's flashback moment was the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match from No Surrender 2009. So this is what you were wanting.
Yeah.
So it was Sting, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles, and Matt Morgan. Fatal 4-way match, really good. It's when Styles wins the belt. I think it was one of the first times Styles wins the belt, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been his first title. This 2009, probably his first title run. You'd know better.
Maybe.
You'd know better than
Maybe.
me.
That's because he held the NWA title, didn't he? So
yeah.
It could have been his first title run with the TNA one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the ring was with Gia had Jody Threat with her this week. They mostly just talked about brunch. They're like, what's your favorite meal? They just talked about brunch, and then they talked about how they should make plans to hang out and stuff like that. And what are the best drinks for brunch? And Jody is respect to Jody Threat, black coffee all the way. I agree. And she's like, okay, you need your hydration drink, which is water. You need your energy drink, which is her black coffee, and then you need the fun drink, which she said a Caesar. And I'm like, yes, as a Canadian, I fully agree. Gia doesn't know what a Caesar is. It's a Caesar is basically a Bloody Mary for all the non-Canadians. A Caesar is basically a Bloody Mary.
Mm-hmm.
But it's made with clamato juice instead of tomato juice, and clamato juice is tomato juice cut with a bit of clam juice.
That sounds vile. Oh my god.
It's so good. You come to Canada, you're trying one.
I don't even like Bloody Marys, so
doesn't matter.
I'll try it.
I have my Caesars with tequila instead of vodka, so gives it a little kick.
Okay.
And then the main event was Rich Swann versus Jason Hotch from the Good Hands.
Yep.
This match was fire, dude. I've never seen Jason Hotch. First of all, they brought up the fact that he won Gut Check from 2022 multiple times. And he looked incredible. He was hitting some amazing offense. Rich Swann made him look amazing, and he actually pulls the win. Now, here's the funny part. He pulls the win because AJ Francis came out to ringside to sit at commentary, which Francis is pretty good on commentary.
Yes.
He talked about the Cheez-It title, and Gia asked him, like, oh, are you going to be defending that belt? And he goes, you don't need to defend a belt that they just give you. He's like, I'm the Cheez-It champion because they pay me to be the Cheez-It champion. I'm like, okay, dude. But yeah, he stands up. Rich Swann gets on the turnbuckle. He stands up, and AJ Francis stands up and keeps being like, yeah, you got this. Get him. And Swann's like, I know I got this. You leave me alone. Shut up, basically. And because of that, Hotch is able to get the win. Or wait a minute, is it? Oh, I think I might have messed up which one of the Good Hands is actually in this match. I'll be honest.
No, because John Schuyler's in the other match later on.
Yeah, okay, Skyler's the one facing Chris Sabin on the main episode.
Yeah.
So it was Jason Hotch. My bad. But no, Hotch looked really great. It was a good match. It was fun. One of the funny things that production problems.
Yes.
So Swann does his entrance. They cut Swan's music. AJ Francis's music hits. He walks out. He goes to the commentary, and then Swan's music starts up again, and like it plays in its entirety. The bell rings, and it's still playing. You can hear the music. It's still going, and like I don't know. Somebody should have hit like the stop button, but nobody did. It just played in its entirety. It was funny. I was laughing pretty hard at that point.
So enjoyable, yeah.
Overall, it was really fun. It was an enjoyable episode. A good 40 minutes of wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that was fun, because going into Impact, I felt very disappointed. So we get the recap of what's happened, and then we go straight into Chris Sabin versus John Schuyler from the Good Hands. And this match is sponsored by Mustafa Ali.
Yes. I love how we had the thing, the news scroll at the bottom of the screen during the match. I love the border it gave it when Chris Sabin was walking in. They advertised Ali's shirt on TNA.
It looks really nice.
It does look really nice.
It does look really nice.
I will say this was the worst way to open the match, because Skyler's promo is about change and how we all need to accept change that's coming and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, this leaves such a bad taste in my mouth because of the Scott.
Yes. This is literally how I felt. I was like, oh, I don't want change.
Yeah. Right? Like,
so I literally went straight into this match negatively. The match itself was okay. It wasn't anything special. Like, if you look at the last 3 weeks of openers we've had, this doesn't compare.
It does not.
No.
This didn't feel like an X Division match whatsoever.
Yeah, but it had the opportunity to. Yeah,
it had the X Division champion in it, and it didn't feel like an X Division match.
Do you know the thing? I think I'm bored of Chris Sabin being X Division champion. Like, it feels like it's been going on so long now. Well, I feel like I'm a bit bored of that.
They did mention that next Friday he's going to have passed his longest reign as X Division champion. So if he does lose it to Mustafa Ali, this will have been his longest X Division title run, no matter what, by that point.
But this is where I'm worried, because it's Mustafa Ali's first TNA match. If he just comes and wins it, this isn't. I know. Getting it. I don't like it when people just debut and win a title. You know, I want some build up. Like, I was worried that was going to happen with Nick Nemeth when he comes in. I just thought it was going to be he's coming in, he's taking over from Moose. Glad that hasn't happened, but
I mean, look what happened with Leo Rush.
Yeah,
Leo Rush ran in, won the title that was an amazing. They did that really amazingly with him. With him, it worked. But if they do it again, that's going to be the second time in a row that Chris Sabin loses the title in the exact same way, basically.
Yeah.
And that's just crappy feeling, bad storytelling. I will say that Schuyler, this is like the best he's ever looked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. He looks fantastic.
I saw the Good Hands in AEW a little bit before they came to TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I saw at least Schuyler anyway. I don't remember if Hosh was with him. I'll be honest now. My memory's going blank on that one. But between the Xplosion match against Rich Swann and this match against Chris Sabin, these two, it feels like these two are getting a push, even though he lost the match.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like he's getting like they're both getting a push.
Yeah, and I feel like that's TNA working on tag team. Overall, with Sabin getting the cradle shock to get the win.
Yeah.
I gave this 3 geeks out of the 10.
I gave it a 5 because to me this was perfectly down the middle. It's bare. It's what a good quality match should be. I didn't think anything about the match was bad. There's just nothing there was nothing up and above about it whatsoever.
So why you gave it to 3 was, 1, because the expecting change took a point off it, and 2, I was comparing it to the last 3
Couple
openers
weeks.
that we've
Yeah,
had.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and compared to that, this was just, it felt deflated. But that could just be me being deflated. I don't know.
That's fair, man. It's rough.
Yeah. It's like I've lost a family member. I'm so gutted.
I
Like,
know. So moving on, we have a little promo with Alex Shelley in back.
yeah,
Eh,
it was all right.
it was fine.
I like the thing where he said thing about a system is you take out one component and the whole thing goes. That
Yeah,
was a nice little line.
yep. Clever little wordplay there. It's good.
Yeah. But again, just a very generic promo for a rematch.
Yeah. Next match, we go into Tasha Steelz versus Xia Brookside, a rematch between those two. I loved Tasha Steelz' Cleopatra look.
She looked incredible coming out.
Yeah, I think that looked
Absolutely
amazing.
incredible.
This match was much more fast paced
Yeah.
than the Sabin Skylar match. I felt like this should have been the opener.
Yes, I can agree with that. I feel like the wrong person won. Purely on the reason she had the first win and they've just given it Tasha Steelz the win back. It counteracts the momentum she got from the first win.
Well, I like the way Tasha won though. She
Yeah.
She wins by reversing the Brooksy bomb.
Yes.
And she wins by reversing that, rolling up Xia and grabbing the trunks for a dirty pin. That's Tasha learning from her mistakes, at least. Like there's some storytelling there. There's something there. It's not just, oh, you won one, now I won one. Like there's actually story to it, at least.
Yeah. I would
It
have
could have been
preferred
worse.
Xia to have a different match with someone else between, so it's not just back to back. Like I think that's my issue there. You know what I mean? Like I think it's because it's back to back matches of the same person, and I feel like if she'd had a match with someone else, or even if Tasha Steele had a match with someone else, and then kind of called her out and gone, listen, you beat me, but I'm better than you. You got lucky. I
Yeah.
feel like that would have done it, but it was just kind of the story narrative there for me. What it wasn't there. It was purely you've had a win. Now she's got to have a win.
Yeah. And I'm calling it now. The rubber match is going to be on the pre-show for No Surrender.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be the opener of No Surrender if there's no pre-show. But anyway.
There'll be a pre-show.
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Did you?
To me, it was another just like
I
what a
gave it a
match should
4.
be. Yeah.
I gave it a 4 purely because of the reason of there was nothing in between those two matches.
I think I'm just trying to like judge the match on as like an individual match kind of thing a little bit. But I understand.
Yes.
I totally get where you're coming from on it.
I think like last week I said how I'm going to be biased because I love TNA, and this week I'm just like really negative. Like this is rubbish. Turn it off. So after the match, we get ABC talking about the Grizzled Young veterans.
Yes.
They're talking about how it's 2 out of 3 matches and they were lucky to get over, and all is fair in love and war, and there's no love and war. And then the Grizzled Young veterans attack them and slam Ace Austin's arm in a box.
Well, it's a box in one of the trunks.
It's a box.
That's the kind of thing that carries ring pieces. It's sturdy, okay?
Okay. But it was a box.
It is basically just a box, yes. It's a
got a
metal lined box, okay? When you say a box, people are gonna picture like a cardboard box.
I didn't see inside the box. It could have been a cardboard one.
Oh my god. Obviously, you know, this just setting up like Grizzled Young Vets going into the next match, Ace having an injured arm.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that in this promo we'd get some sort of hint of what the gimmick match is going to be at the end.
I'm scared that there's not going to be one.
Yeah. But now it's going to be a box match, obviously.
Put your opponent in the cardboard box, tape it shut.
Yep. Post them back to Liverpool.
Oh my god.
Then we go into Kaz and Jake something backstage.
Yeah. I don't know. This felt out of nowhere, completely weird.
Yes. Like, I don't think I've seen them talk before.
No, yeah. Kaz is just walking by, then Jake's just like, "You! I used to look up to you."
I
I
did
do
like
like.
the
I
line that Kaz says, "Well, don't look at me anymore."
Yeah. If you're not looking up at me, then don't look at me anymore. And I'm like, that was good. Other than
Yeah.
that, though, like,
Yeah.
it's just to set up a match for next week. It's all it
Yeah.
was, which is
And
fine.
and yeah, and it's fine. That's it. Um, the way they've been building Jake something though is strong and dominant. So are they going to give him the win over Kaz, who's just turned heel, or is Kaz going to go over?
I feel like Kaz should go over, and the way he's gonna do it is probably gonna be very underhanded, very like, or he's
Yes.
gonna like, maybe Kaz will lose by DQ because he's just not gonna give a fuck.
Oh, yeah, that would be quite good.
Yeah, that's the kind we haven't seen that kind of stuff in TNA.
Yeah.
Um, not in a long time, so that'd be good.
And then it's Mike Bailey versus Zachary Wentz.
Yeah, this was an X Division match.
This was an X Division
Holy
match.
shit. This match was awesome. I will admit. This was like the saving grace of the episode.
Yes. Yeah.
You have hard-hitting strikes, risky high-flying moves. Uh you have Trey just doing little things every once in a while. Like it was really well executed.
Even the commentary made me laugh on this.
Yes.
Like Trey Miguel hits speedball Mike Bailey, and Matt says to Tom, he was like, "Sometimes I wish that was me doing that to you." In those
Yeah.
sort of words,
Yeah.
you
Then
know.
there's also like the oh my god, when Tom was talking about how the Rascals cheated their way through the tag team tournament, and then they won the belts, and Matt's just like, yeah, super happy. And
Yeah.
then Tom keeps going. He goes, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you after you said they won the belts."
Yeah. I think they work really well as a commentary team.
They're so
They're
good.
so funny. And I like seeing them at the side of the ring.
Yeah, it's
You
better.
know, yeah, it's not recorded over after. I like seeing them at the side of the ring. That's
Well, I mean,
good.
they had the bird's eye view for the paper for like when they were in the Hard to Kill recordings and that. So,
Yeah.
but it makes them feel disconnected.
Yes. Mike Bailey did an incredible moonsault to the outside.
Yeah. Yes.
That was incredible. And the UF cutter that Wentz uses to win the match was just beautiful.
UFO cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was the height on that move is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. We get a little post-match beatdown, of course. Rascals don't take the don't take the loss lightly. Trent Seven makes his big return, coming down to help them out.
Didn't the
To help out
Rascals
his
win?
tag team partner. Sorry, yeah, the Rascals did win. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they just wanted to beat on Bailey more. Then, yeah, it still makes sense for their characters. At this point, I feel like they're gonna do a post-match beatdown no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trent Seven comes out to save his tag team partner, so we can get Speedball Mountain.
Speedball Mountain, which we've had one match with them, and they are already probably one of my favorite tag teams.
They're so over already. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Macklin comes up, of course, though, to help the Rascals. And then, like we called, Nick Nemeth comes out. And he helps. One little thing I found funny is that Macklin trips into Trey Miguel.
Yes.
Like Miguel's rolling to get out of the ring, and Macklin just trips right over him. Nemeth made it work, though. Like they made it work. They made it look like it was on purpose. So at least it's that. But yeah, this was like an 8 out of 10 for me at this point. Like this,
I gave it 7.
Okay. This it's the saving grace of the episode. It really was. I think the only reason why I gave it an 8 is because we've had so many post-match beatdowns with this exact combination of people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's why it went down to a 7 to me. It was just the
that,
same thing, but like we predicted last week, we said this would happen.
Yeah, we said Trent Seven would be back.
Yeah.
We said Nick Nemeth was going to be involved with them as well. So yeah. After this, we get a con promo, which nice and simple, very good, great, exactly what it needed to be.
No, I agree. It did the job. Let me get an Xplosion recap and a promo from Rhino saying he's coming for Crazy Steve. He doesn't care. Well, have I missed something?
Well, I just want to bring up in between the two promos, the con promo and the Rhino promo, we do get the announcement that Powertown is going to be making the figures for TNA Wrestling. We're getting the first batch of figures, and I found out who the first wave are.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm going to be putting it up on the screen at this point. That there's going to be an image of Cardona Myers. There's a 2-pack that's scheduled to be released a little later this year, very soon, as far as I can tell. They look incredibly high quality, ridiculous. And I looked at some of the other figures that they make. First of all, their site's terrible. That's a problem. Their site's not great. It's overly simple. And it makes it actually harder to know exactly what they have available. But they have something called the Ultra Series that I looked at because I was trying to find price points.
Mm-hmm.
The Ultra Series is a bunch of older wrestlers. They have Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Luthez, Vern Gagne. Great. I'm like, that's awesome. They all look amazing. $75 Canadian. So $55 US, 45 GPB.
Okay.
GBP, yeah.
GBP. British pounds.
Yeah, $45 for you, 75 for me. The difference between our two currencies makes me sad. But Wave 1, which I couldn't find a date for when the pre-orders are going up for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping the quality is a little lower on the Impact figures so that they're a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
But we have Moose, Josh Alexander, Eddie Edwards, and Jordan Grace.
Okay, it's not a bad pick for the first ones.
I think since there's only 4 of them, I think it's a great lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the Motor City Machine Guns being possibly the first 2-pack they make.
Yes.
Something like that. So maybe ABC would be the first 2-pack they make, though, if ABC for the tag belts.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I'm excited.
No, yeah, me too. They'll be really hard to get over here, but you know.
Actually, no. They have. It seems like they ship like to all over the world. Like they ship all kinds of countries, no problem.
Yeah.
So I don't think these don't seem like the kind of things that are going to be going in store. They seem like this company is like you have to order stuff from them. So, and just based on all like the currency list and stuff like that, and no, I don't think you'll have a hard time ordering them, to be honest. So to get back to the Rhino promo, why the hell were they doing that with the camera the entire time?
I know.
I don't even know what he was saying, dude.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what
I had to look away from the screen. It was too much for my eyes.
He said he doesn't care about the digital media. He just wants gold. Now, what he's saying is the digital media title doesn't mean anything to him. He just wants a belt. Yeah, where's a singlet? He doesn't need a belt.
That's really stupid.
Yeah.
That's really stupid. He shouldn't even care about the belt. His story should be, I don't care about the belt. I care about Steve because of what he did to Tommy Dreamer. Wasn't that the story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hello. Anyway, the shaky cam was so terrible and so bad that I couldn't even look at the TV, so.
So then we go into Jordan Grace and Trinity versus Gia Shaw and Shayna Evans.
Savannah Evans.
Shavannah Evans. I can't say it. Okay, so I'm going to say I like the fact that they mentioned the Royal Rumble,
Absolutely.
but I think they should have changed this to Naomi, yeah, instead of Trinity. So, and then also spoke about how made it so that it was like Naomi had come back for a match to help Jordan Grace.
Yeah, they should have. I feel like the commentary for this match was definitely done in post production.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, because it just, a lot of it doesn't like, we know that this was recorded before the Royal Rumble,
Yes.
right? So, but
But I really
honestly,
feel like they should have, and this would have been a way of WWE cross branding with TNA to pay
yeah,
that back, as even if she just had her Trinity music, but just on the thing was Naomi. Yeah,
yeah,
Naomi's come back to TNA to help Jordan Grace out for this one match.
yeah.
You know,
Is this her last appearance?
I believe it is. It's her hometown,
Yeah,
wasn't it? So I
yeah. It
believe
felt
this
like
is going to be her last appearance. Yeah.
it felt like it was. That's for sure.
It kind
I
of
think
needs to be, as literally
yeah.
she's on SmackDown now. So
the the match itself was okay. It was fine. I did like the cohesion that Trinity and Grace had.
hmm
They look like a legit tag team when it
yeah,
comes to their tactics, the way they were wrestling and that. Great. Um, Nothing really of great substance happened in the match, though.
no,
Like, it was a good. Again, I gave this another 5 out of 10 because it was a good standard what a match should be.
yeah,
Um, Savannah Evans ends up tapping out to the Starstruck, of course, with Trinity getting the win. It's a
yeah.
great move on their part.
I see. I wouldn't. I honestly felt like either Jordan Gray should have got the win, or Trinity should have been the one defeated.
Well, with it being Trinity's hometown and it probably being her last match in TNA, I did feel like it was the right move to give it to her. Like, the crowd was really hot for her specifically.
They were, yes, they
And
were.
I'll be honest, it's one of those moments where you want to give the crowd what they want.
Mm.
Like, if I would
And
have
I
been
suppose she's already gone out on her back to lose to Jordan Grace
yeah.
anyway.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, if I was like, if I was running an indie show, one of my indie shows, and I had a tag team match and I wanted my champion to get the pin to make my champion look better, but the crowd is responding that much more to the champion's partner,
hmm
I'd make an audible right there on the spot, and I'd be like, go to my ring announcer, get my ring announcer to pass the message on to the ref that we can
Yeah,
change the ending.
yeah.
I do. That's what I would do if this was a home indie show for sure. Um, but yeah, five
I
out of five, five out
yeah.
of
I
10. I
gave
mean,
this a 5. I gave this a 5. Yeah, and then we go into Con. No, then
no,
sorry, we
we get
go
a
into
Diener promo.
Dina. This
This. This was good,
this was my highest rating of the whole night.
dude. Dude, AJ Francis shows up and is just trying to make his pitch to Diener like he is with everybody. Diener's like, I'm not going to help you with Joe Hendry. Don't say his name.
And then Joe Henry's, and
Say,
what I loved is how they clap and Dina claps and he's looking like he doesn't even look like he's lost control. He just starts
yeah,
clapping with him.
he was so
That
confused.
this
Looking at his
this
hands
got
like,
eight
why was
gigs
I
for me.
clapping with him?
Yeah.
So good. So good. Um, it's one of those things, of course, Joe Hendry, AJ Francis just like, look, man, you can talk all the trash you want, but like, last time you said this, I had you 10 feet up in the air and I slammed
No,
you
no, no.
down.
That's not what he said. He said I had you 10 feet above my head.
Oh, yeah. Sure you
I,
did,
I
buddy.
had you 10 feet above my head.
You mean 10 inches above your head.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just one of those, another guy who can't tell the difference between, inches and feet, I guess. Uh,
No wonder women are confused about sizes.
yeah, exactly. You guys like him up there, God. But Hendry like tries to talk to Diener as well after Francis leaves, and Diener's just like, "Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't never touch me again."
Again,
So
massive fan of comedy wrestling. This
yeah,
is it. I gave this 8 geeks because Dina started talking and I was like, oh, okay, this is like, to me, you should be dead right now. You've had your neck snapped. And then that
yeah.
happened, you know. Yeah, 8
Diener's
geeks
going
because it
back
was
to comedy
funny.
wrestling. That's fine by me.
Yeah.
So now we get the con versus two jobbers. What were their names?
Richard
Richard
something.
Adonis
Yes,
and
Richard Adonis and Oral
Ori Gold.
Gold. Ori Gold.
Oral.
Oral Gold. I was excited.
I can tell.
Now, this was a squash match that was done really well.
Yeah, 2v1 handicap.
Yeah.
Claw slam. Like he just throws Adonis out of the ring, right? Like nothing. Does the claw slam to Gold. Neck snaps Adonis. Goes to
Yeah.
neck snap Gold, and then PCO.
PCO.
The fact that like PCO didn't just come out for a beatdown, but had to be reanimated.
Yeah. No, I loved it. The way
I
Connor
thought it was
attacked him while
funny.
he was on the thing, the whole fight, the
Man,
security coming out and being split apart and just not being able to stop them. This
yeah,
is going to be a great feud.
I think so. I do like how the brawl was like 4 times as long as the match.
Yeah.
Also, something I noticed, and you never see this, and this should be something that stands out. There was a woman on security that was being
Yes.
thrown around with the guys, and
Yeah.
I'm
There was
like,
2.
there was 2. Okay, I'd only caught the one. But yeah, like that shouldn't be something that stands out to us. That should be normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good
But
step.
it was a good step. Yeah. It was, again, enjoyable. I didn't give it a geek rating because it was just so simple and
Oh, I
what it
did.
needed to be. Did you? What
I,
did you give
I,
it?
I gave it a 6. Just because it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just really
The,
fun.
it was just really fun, and I like the fact that the squash match didn't even take up 2 minutes of the airtime. Really,
Oh God,
you know,
no! The squash
it
match was
was
barely
all
a
about
minute.
setting up this match and this feud. So
Yeah,
yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
yeah,
And then we go into, and I'm pretty sure now we go into Alan Angels versus Josh Alexander.
yeah. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Um, Angels ends up jumping Josh during the entrance before the bell.
Hmm.
Um, Overall, it was an okay match. Nothing really stood out. Angel had a couple of interesting spots, but nothing super fantastic. It just
Hmm.
felt it's like the rest of this episode. It felt very basic, kind of
Yes.
formulaic.
I
Uh,
remember you saying last week about how you're worried because they've shot a lot of matches in one go and putting them in there. Have they just used it up? Now that's how it felt.
that's how it felt. Yeah.
It did. It felt like they used all their good matches in the first episode to leave so many bland matches in this
Well,
episode.
one problem with TV tapings like that is that when you're doing 3, 4 matches in a day,
Yeah.
that's realistically that's what the wrestlers are doing. They're doing 3, 4 matches in a single day.
Yeah.
By the time they get to that last match, they're gassed out.
Oh yeah.
They're exhausted.
Yeah.
They're hurt. You know what I mean? So, um, Josh goes to hit the C4 spike,
Yeah.
and Angel's arms are limp, so he just says screw it and puts him in the ankle lock instead. I like
Yeah.
that. That was nice. Now, commentary. This is what we both thought last week when we were talking about the sound check. Angels was not talking about himself when he was saying that Josh like stepped over people and was able to like take people out on his way up and all that. Angels wasn't talking about himself. He's talking about, like, commentary made it sound like he was talking about someone else, and they're trying to figure out who. And so am I.
Yeah.
I really want to know who they're talking about. Um, but also after the match, a fan jumps the barricade attacking Josh, and it ends up being Simon Gotch.
Yes.
I'm super excited. As
I'm very excited. Will they take Matt off commentary?
Oh, that'd be I don't know, man. He
I
hasn't
don't want
wrestled in
him
a
to.
while. No, I don't think he should. I'll be honest, because he hasn't wrestled in a while, and I don't think he really has that much interest in it.
Yeah.
He's so much better as a manager and as a commentator at this point.
But I
But
like the way they still referenced, well, you know him. Did you know this was
he's like
going to
he's like,
happen?
yeah, I know him really well. Trust me.
Yeah.
But when Tom's just like, oh my God, he goes, yeah, I know who that is. Don't worry.
Yeah. That was a lovely line.
The emotion in it too, like he really sold it. Um, I, as somebody who watches MLW and has watched Gotch as part of like Team Filthy with Tom Lawler, like
Yeah.
I'm all for it. Gotch is really great. Apparently, he can still. There's been a lot said about his attitude backstage, and there's been a lot of information over the last couple of years about what he can be like backstage and whatnot. But we'll see how that works out here. Overall, I think it's a good move. I think if he ends up signing, that's great.
But if they haven't got Scott D'Amore there to make this work, Scott D'Amore was the linchpin who made everyone happy. Yeah, like that.
Yep.
I've got to get off this subject because
Well,
it's
here's the thing. Ultimately, dude, these wrestlers want a place to work.
yeah, they do. Yeah,
And like, okay, a lot of these guys, like TNA, let's face it, they don't have the big bucks.
no,
They're mostly paying people the same as their indie rates.
yes,
So for Simon Gotch, this is just another place to work, possibly. You know what I mean? But it's a place that gives him TV time.
yes. No, I get that. And
So
my one thing I do worry about is what Tommy Dreamer said is that talent will who request their release will looked at on a by case basis.
yeah,
Um,
not everybody's gonna get out of their contracts. Moose signed like one of the longest contracts.
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad
Um,
for Moose,
yes.
but
And Jordan Grace, she'll be gone as soon as her contract's up now.
oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah, there's no way.
And
She's going to WWE.
yeah, and I don't see many. You've got Josh Alexander, probably AW bound now.
Giselle Shaw.
Yeah,
Shaw would not be where she is today without Scott. That's for sure. She
yeah,
was she was stuck in Canada until
yeah.
until TNA. So I mean,
I
yeah,
think I would love to see him set up his own promotion now properly and go challenge him and be like, "Fuck you."
yeah, I'd love to see it too.
Okay, let's get to
Well, I had one more thing I wanted to say.
yep,
I'm wondering if Simon Gotch, Alan Angels, and whoever Angels was talking about, if that's them setting up another faction.
could be, could be
I do like the idea of having a few heel factions and then having all the faces kind of like, because
band together.
faces can always work with any other face, and you don't
Yeah,
really question it. So the idea of having multiple heel factions that the faces can team up against and face, it makes sense. I do like that.
yeah.
So yeah, main event. Sorry, I just
No,
wanted
no,
to.
no. So we get a little promo for next week,
Oh
which
yes,
looks much better than this week.
I actually have
Um,
all the matches for next week written down that they announced.
Fabulous.
So we have ABC versus Grizzled Young Vets,
Yeah,
match two.
part two. Yep.
Rhino versus Crazy Steve for the digital media title.
Hmm.
Frankie Kazarian versus Jake something. Moose versus Kushida. That is going to be cool. I can't wait for that.
It's going to be interesting.
Yes. We're also
Yeah.
going to be hearing from Ash by Elegance, which we didn't get a promo for her this time, which is a good move at this
Yeah.
point. So yeah, that should be entertaining. Also, Xplosion this week. or technically Xplosion has already aired on Friday on TNA Plus, but anyway, uh, we're I'm not paying for TNA Plus just yet. Jake something versus Shira, Laredo Kid versus Jay Vidal.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
it's obvious who wins those matches, but let's see how it goes.
And then we get into Alex Shelley versus Eddie Edwards.
Yes. Um,
Oh,
this was another 5 out of 10 match for me. Like it's just the whole night was 5 out of 10s for me basically, except for one great match. Because it was just so. It's exactly what Eddie Edwards and Alex Shelley like. It's yeah, they just both went through their greatest hits. They both just like phoned it in, kind of thing.
this would have been a good opener.
This would have been a great opener, but because it was
Yeah.
the main event, and even then when they announced that this was the main event, it just kind of felt wrong. Like
My
as soon as I
problem
heard,
is the system right now is Moose champion and Brian and Edwards losing.
yeah, I agree. I do think the ending was really well done. Shelley dodging the Boston Knee Party at the last possible second,
Yeah.
jumping onto Eddie to get that pin. I like surprise pins like that. I like surprise endings. You don't always have to hit a finisher. You don't always have to have a big distraction. Sometimes just let wrestlers out wrestle each other.
Yeah. And that's what they did there. It was a
Yep.
great ending to the match. And then you get Myers running an attack, you get Kushida running an attack, and you
Kevin
get
Knight
Kevin Knight running and make the
doing an
save.
amazing dive.
And where was Moose?
Nowhere to be found.
Is this them already splitting up the system?
No, I don't think so. I just straight up think this was just this is how Moose operates. He kind of always like this makes sense to me for Moose to have not come out at this point, to be honest. Like they to me it's like they probably came up with a plan backstage of how they're gonna handle this, and
Mm-hmm.
then Moose trusted them to carry out the plan. To me, like that's all that is. I don't know.
I don't know. I just felt like Moose should have been coming out there to at least make the system look strong. Like I feel like the system been banded together. Moose won the title, and they may as well be the B team. You know,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
much like I'm the champion, you two lose, and how long until he starts getting angry that they're losing? That Moose has had the build up he needs, but Myers and Edwards have just had loss after loss after loss after loss, and it doesn't seem like this is a way of advancing the storyline without Moose taking a pin. But I'd much rather
Well,
Moose take a pin from Shelley like that in a
yeah.
non-title match than just everyone over there Moose lose.
Well, yeah. Myers got pinned in the trios match. Um, but then he made up for it in the singles match against Kevin Knight, and then Eddie got pinned tonight against Alex Shelley. But it's the fact that they've only gotten pinned twice. There's only been
Yeah,
2 losses, and Myers did have a win, but that isn't coming to mind right away when you think about it.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
very telling. That's very telling.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I think if
overall,
it had been Kushida or Saban that he got the pin over, it would have felt more in with the story. But because it's Kevin Knight who's only just been added to it, and right now
yeah,
is a lower mid carder at max, and then
yeah.
so they're pushing him and building him up, which is great, but just yeah,
Overall, this episode was just very basic, very
I,
formulaic,
I
nothing
gave the episode
spectacular.
4.5 geeks.
I gave it the 5 because to me that was like the feel of the entire episode was just exactly what a quality wrestling show should be and nothing more.
Yeah,
That's why I gave
yeah,
it a 5.
that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'm just disappointed.
I
It's
get it. Yeah, I tried really, really, really hard to not let the Scott news drag me down and affect me for like my view on everything. I tried
yeah.
really, really hard. And I get it,
You did
dude.
much better than me, because
Yeah.
everything I was like, well, but the problem is, so they've done all this recording, it's coming up to the next one. Yeah, the next pay-per-view, and then they've got to record more, and it's not that, like, this is the end of Scott's run now. What's recorded is becoming the end of Scott's run. Yeah. And hopefully the next week's better. But if this is how it was kind of going, if next week's isn't very good either, then it makes a bit more sense.
I could see that, but
He's done a lot for TNA. He really has brought it back to the forefront. But if
mhm. I mean, not everything he did was incredible. Like there's things he did that I didn't like. I will say
yeah,
that. But I
yeah,
think overall, I just really enjoyed what he was doing for the company.
yeah, and I honestly believe he was the linchpin of everyone's kind of happiness and
Yeah.
the locker room morale. You know,
Well, a big thing for me also is like he's a career wrestling guy.
yes,
So it's like this new guy coming in, which I don't even remember his name.
no,
Um, this new guy coming in isn't a career wrestling dude. You know what I mean? So that's where those connections with WWE, those connections with New Japan, the connections with AAA, that's where all that stuff is gonna like. Scott has these connections because he's spent his entire life creating those connections.
and he's respected in the industry.
Extremely well respected.
Yeah, he's but when it first came out that he was being fired, I was really worried it was another Vince McMahon sort of thing.
Oh my
I don't
God.
want to go into that, and that broke my heart. The thought that it could be that, but purely
Yeah.
the fact that it's Anthem saying, well, we want to make more money, you want to spend more money, so between us,
Well,
see you later.
apparently one of the things they want to do is because like Anthem owns Access TV.
Yeah.
And Access TV does make some of its own original programming. And
Mhm.
apparently they want to bring some of the TNA stars into that original programming to do like it's cross pollination
And I
pollination,
can understand doing that, and I don't understand why Scott wouldn't want to do that. Um,
right?
but I just
I can see Scott being a purist and being like wrestling is wrestling, that stuff's something else. Like it's not wrestling. I can
yeah,
see Scott being like that. Not that I know the man personally or anything like that, of course, but you know what I mean? Like I could see someone that's been a career wrestling guy having that mentality.
yeah. But if you look at like AEW and WWE, they do those other shows, like, you know,
Yeah,
and it helps bring different people in. So yeah, let's just um, and I advise everyone, don't stop watching TNA. It's not just
give it
about
time.
Scott D'Amore. Yeah,
Give
give
it a
it time.
chance.
Let's
Give it a
let's see
time, give
what
it a chance.
happens, because you never know. Like, they've brought a businessman in who could just go, okay, well, we're going to use you guys to run the stories, and this is how much money we've got, and I'm going to get us this much money and make more money, and that's what every company's really about.
Yeah.
He could make it better. He
Yep.
could
Well, I'm sure that we could keep talking about Scott D'Amore and like that specific thing for like at least another hour. But
easily.
yeah, we should probably we're getting close to the hour mark, so we should probably cut it here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, like, and share, and all that good stuff. Just to help us out. We're just starting. We've got 70 odd followers. So come on, let's build that up. If we can get to 100, that'd be great.
That'd be
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
thank you everyone for listening, and I'll see you next time.
Have a good one, everyone.